Hey all, Pixel here. It is an absolutely beautiful day, and we want to take this to a party later today, a couple of hours away, but the AC's busted still. I haven't gotten around to repairing it, and it's going to be way too hot if we don't. So, what's going to happen today is I got to install all of this. This is a new AC compressor, a new dryer, a new orifice tube, all the various seals, and then I need to vacuum the system out and fill it full of coolant. The compressor already has oil in it, so I don't have to worry about that. But yeah, I got to get all this stuff in, all this hooked up. This is probably actually going to be the thing that's going to take me the most time, is undoing a bunch of the connections and finding them so I can make sure I get all the seals in. Right now it is 12:50. I have until 3 o'clock when I have to take a shower and we got to get out of here. And that's a hard deadline. So 2 hours, 10 minutes to do an entire AC system. So basically I'm speed running it. We've got I've already pulled the dryer out. I've pulled the orifice tube and replaced it and put a new gasket where it goes and put that back together. So that's one thing down. Now my old dryer is wearing a coat here, so I'm going to assume that this can only help with efficiency, especially given how cramped the engine compartment is on the van. I suspect that a lot of this is necessary just to keep this thing from cooking. So basically got a like 2-piece rubber bit here, it looks like, and there's a bracket hooked into all of it. So here's the old dryer. They always recommend if you replace the compressor, you replace the dryer, and this one weighs a ton more, so it's got something collected in the bottom of it. New one goes in. Now this is the port that the sensor goes on. This is the fill port. So the clamp was somewhere around there. And this has to go on the right orientation. How this is supposed to be under this. Now I skipped ahead. I pulled the belt off, but then skipped to doing this because I realized I just got home from getting the thing and the engine's warm. So like a brilliant person, I'm trying to work on an engine that has, you know, is nice and piping hot. So I think this was around here somewhere. All right, that's going to go back on. What I discovered down here is that the line goes down and goes forward of the radiator support, which means the connections are actually behind the grill. I think that's no, that is the condenser, but yeah, apparently the connections are like here and over there. So now I need to pull the grill, which means I need to pull these buckets and then get the whole grill off so that I can get at those and put new connectors on them. Those two connectors have had their gaskets replaced, so theoretically it's nothing but the compressor now. But while I'm in here, I wanted to show you, I don't think I ever showed the final hackery that got these lights in, but there's a piece welded in back there that's got the threaded bit this fits into. There's a piece back here welded in. Both of those were hacked out of somewhere else on the panel. And then over here, there's a piece of wood crammed in here because it needed just that little bit more tension to fit because I cut the opening a little too big. I have a plan for how I'm going to fix this, but I haven't implemented it yet. But yeah, this side, similar, hacked piece in there, hacked piece in there. I can't tip this headlight up any further because this retaining screw is hitting the body. And on this side, I can go back up further, but yeah, they're so hacked in there. But after multiple days, that was what I just wanted so I could get it on the road so I could come up with a better solution. And I think I have it, but I'm not going to implement it right now. And now we're inside because I think, I'm not sure, but I think the fastest way to get the compressor out is going to be this way rather than through the front, because there's so much in front of it that I think I might have a better chance unbolting the hose from the back of it. Well, the question is going to be if I can reach the hardware, but that's also going to be a question from the front. But as long as I can reach the hardware on it, I think I might be able to lift it and carry it back out this way much easier than trying to remove enough from the front to get it out that way. So I need to get this off and get at it. All right, and I was right. This is the compressor right here, which is way more visible, let alone accessible from this side. So I need to grab the other one so I can look at it and see where there's bolts for things and whatnot, so I understand what I'm trying to take out. And I need to pull this out and put the new one in. This is actually the hardest part of the whole thing, because everything else, if I didn't get it done, at worst I would have to like quickly screw a joint back together to keep dirt out of it, but I could drive the truck. Once this compressor is unbolted, I have to get the new one in at least, and I have to get the line hooked up to it before I can drive the van. So this is the like thing that could really fuck me if it goes poorly. So it is now 1:32, and it means I have an hour and a half. Update. It is 2:25. The compressor is bolted in with all its major bolts. The three in the front, basically. The belt is back on it. So what I have left is the two braces on the back here need to get bolted in place. This one here, and then the other one that spans over here. Once that is all on, I can that's going to be interesting. I have to figure out how this goes on because there seems to be a bolt here where mine didn't have one. But yeah, we're getting close. At this point, I'm pretty sure the engine could be run as long as the compressor wasn't spun up. So yeah, gonna get right back to it. I've decided to forego that other bracket here on the assumption that the 3 bolts in the front and this one over here will be enough. I have a problem though, which is I bought the compressor for a van without rear air because mine doesn't have it, but what I didn't realize is this pipe right here means my van had the provision, this upper pipe here means my van had the provision for rear air. So it's slightly different. There's this connector that I have no idea what it does that was on mine and is not present on this one. There's no like other place for it to be. So all of this may be for naught because I have the wrong compressor in here. So I'm going to fire up the pump, I'm going to vacuum out the system, and then kind of go from there, because I got to find out, you know, because worst case scenario, if this is just a sensor or something, I'll just jumper it. But I got to figure out what's going on. So I know whether I'm going to have any chance today of having air conditioning. I did get this to hook up over here, which is the clutch. ran into a problem, which is this refrigerant that I bought has the new self-sealing nozzles. All of the stuff I have is designed for the old style. It's the puncture nozzles. So none of this works with this. I did have that old can, so I was able to put some in the system, and I've got 10 psi, so it's working. Thing is, this pressure switch is bad because I had to jumper it to get the engine to the compressor to start spinning. And then this other thing on the old compressor is clearly another pressure switch. Like I said, because this is designed for the rear, I think this is in some way related to that. So I've jumpered that as well to get it to spin. So right now what I'm going to do is shut the AC off and the engine, because I need to get more Freon so I can have the system at proper pressure for it to actually cool. But it's, you know, it's looking pretty good. It's building pressure. It's running. So this is going to stay jumpered for the short term until I get the switch. The other one's going to just, I think, get permanently jumpered, semi-permanently jumpered. So now I got to blow the van back together so that we can take it, and I'll probably swing by and get that stuff on the way. So that means that with the system running as much as I can with the tools I have available, 256. Not too bad, but I gotta throw all this back together real quick, you know, put the covers on, put the grill on, whatnot, and then go take a shower, and then we're gonna run out, but I'm reasonably happy with that. So I ended up having to go out and get another can of Freon, and getting one with the new updated thing was actually cheaper than just buying the new gauge. So, yeah, capitalism. But right now I've got the bare minimum. I've got like about 26, 27 pounds in the system, which is just barely enough to be in the normal range because that pressure sensor is not working yet, so I didn't want to load it up. But, oh, it's cold. I feel like the king from Spaceballs. Air! Air! But yeah, now I have AC, and it's great because today's actually a little bit warmer than yesterday was, so we get to enjoy proper AC for the first time since I bought the van. And it's a few days later. So I got the AC system working, but obviously not correctly without the sensors, which are here. So what I'm going to do today is properly fix it. This one is the sensor on the dryer, which is the one that tells the compressor to kick on and off as the... I don't know the system exactly. This is the one that tells your compressor to kick on and off while you're using the AC, so it doesn't just run constantly if it doesn't need to. And then this is the one on the back of the AC compressor that this is the overall system pressure. Like, one's a high and low pressure. Like I said, I don't know these very well. Mine should have had this. In fact, the one that's on the website, I'm pretty sure had this. So I'm going to need to go do some research about what got sent to me. But either way, the easiest solution right now is to just put this sensor in. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to depressurize the system for this one. So yeah, let's get to do that. So this is the super easy one. This is just threaded on, and it's threaded onto a fitting. So aside from that little spurt there, it doesn't vent. Wrong box, I'm sorry. In case you were paying attention to part numbers or something. This one literally just threads back on here, and then I can pull out a little jumper wire and hook it up, and that should be all set. This little jumper meant the compressor didn't know to kick off, which for the day I use the AC is fine, but long term, if you just have it running all the time when the AC is on, you burn out your compressor faster because you're just making it run far more than it needs to. So yeah, I gotta pull the doghouse to get this one off, but first I have to vacuum out the whole system again, and I'm gonna have to put fresh Freon into it, which is kind of a bummer, but oh well. All right. I'm just getting this bracket out of the way, and then this is where that sensor goes. There's a circlip that I have to remove. Fancy. Nope, wrong way. Pliers. I will say, buy this set of 4 of these. You can get them pretty cheap online, because the stupid ones they sell in the store that swap out like the heads of them or whatnot are not worth the tiny bit of money that you save versus the incredible amount of hassle that they are. You get a proper pair of pliers for that. So because I had just filled this, the guy at a local shop was willing to suck out all the Freon for the incredibly fair price of, look, just don't mention it to my boss, which I sure as shit was not going to argue with, because yeah. So this goes, I don't know if it has to specifically line up with anything or if it just sits in there. I guess it just sits in there. It's the right one. There's so many of these, I don't know for sure that this is actually even the right one. It's the one that was on the other compressor because they're color coded, but because this compressor is slightly different, I don't actually know that this one is the correct one, but we're gonna give it a shot. All right, I, like a paying attention person, put the camera down still filming, and so it has no battery in it. So I'm going to do this real quick. The system is now cycling on and off, which means both sensors are working, but I don't have enough Freon to fill the system enough so that it's running continuously like it should. So I need to get more Freon, but it's now, like, it's doing what it should do, which is good. I pulled the blower motor out, sprayed the inside of it with some brake clean, and cleaned up the contacts, and now it works properly. So I'm going to put it back in and hope that that's a permanent fix. Like, it does, there's a possibility it has a bad winding and I just nudged it off that winding, but more likely there was just some crud or something in there. So I'm going to put that back in and hope that works. So like the other day, I'm now at, I need to go buy more Freon, but the system all works now. It's just a matter of getting the right amount of Freon in there so that it continues to work. And doesn't keep kicking itself off for having not enough. So I'm going to call that a win. I'm going to talk to you all later. Have a good night. Bye.